Bottom reversals aren't luck, they're all about execution. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made $600 using support and resistance levels based off volume profile and how I used the Bookmap to time and precise my entries. It's not about guessing, it's literally all about structure, confirmation, and discipline. So let's get straight into the video. All right, so first of all, let me just show you the entry executions. As you can see, I took a massive trade, but before that, I did have two other trades. So you can see the first trade right here was a break-even trade where I entered right here and I went around 10 points in profit, and I put my stop loss to break even after this break of structure here on the M1 time frame of this M1 high, and then price just took me out break even. So when I got out break even with my stop loss, obviously is always a little bit in profit, I tried to re-enter using the Bookmap confirmations as always, and I entered actually on this candle right here as I got taken out here with this candle. Then I looked for another confirmation, entered right here, and literally got stopped out to the tick, not even a tick below my stop loss. It was literally just hit it right here, and I immediately found another way of re-entering, again using the Bookmap. And this last entry, the third entry, is what gave me this massive trade. You can see obviously I took partials at the 40.75, which was this high right here, which was the current high of day of the market open. Obviously the pre-market highs were a lot higher, but I already had a decent risk to reward here where I took partials. And I took partials at the 44.25, which I took one contract off. It was a total trade of 8 contracts, took 6 contracts off at the high of day. Another one contract at the 44.25s, which was, as you'll see now on the analysis of this trade, once we get to it, was a value area high. And the last contract was here at the 60s, which was also a massive offer that was sitting there all the time, which is what my final target was for this trade. This was a total risk reward of 6.35. Obviously with taking multiple partials, it was a little bit over 3R, which in hindsight obviously is a shame that I didn't catch this full move, but I do like to take partials and secure profits along the way. Now let's get into the analysis of this trade. So here you can see, we'll do the replay so you can see the actual value areas, high and low, and also the point of control as this actually changed as the market was, going forward. So the analysis basically of this trade before the market actually opened. So let's go a little bit back as well before the market opens. So we have this support level right here on the M15 time frame. See clean support. We're supported over here, once again here, and a third time over here right before the market open. And this support level also aligned with this value area low. And we have the POC right here at the 38.50s. And we have the value area high here around the 44.25s, which is another area that I took partials. Okay, and my full target was at the 60s, which was right here. It was a massive offer sitting here. Obviously another good target could have been the pre-market highs. But I already took most of my position at the current high of day, which was a little bit further as the market opens. And then obviously I took more partials right here at this value area high, and the last contract left here at the 60s. So very clean, simple analysis. You can see it was a balanced range. We obviously had this resistance right here, also aligning with the value area high of the previous day. You can see it resisted also over here in this area. So it was a balanced range, so I didn't want to go for crazy moves. I wasn't expecting, breakouts and going to the moon in balanced range conditions. I like to take, a bit shorter moves and take partials earlier and secure my profits as, the market could still stay in this range and just not give the profits that you really desire and give these big trades. So it's all about understanding as well the market context of the current conditions. And obviously the current conditions were very balanced. So I don't like to trade in the middle of these ranges. I like to trade the edges, the lows and the highs, and get out most of my positions somewhere in the middle, which is exactly what I did. Enter in this level right here at the bottom. And I got out most of my positions around half of the balance range. And yes, it did go to the 60s all over here. And this was a very good area to get out fully of the market. So now that you've seen the analysis of this trade and the entry confirmations, let's go to the Bookmap and do an actual live replay and show you why I decided to enter these 3 trades. The first one being a break-even trade, the second one being a loss, an unfortunate loss. Very, unlucky with that loss, but then was able to mentally stay stoic and just re-enter as there was another good confirmation to enter the market. So here we have the Bookmap. Let's click on play. And now we'll see a drop the downside, entering our level again of support, which aligns with the value area low. And let's just slow it down a little bit. And we have this first low being set right here in our support level. You see prices going up. What I like to see are double bottoms, or I like to see consolidation ranges in the Bookmap. So here we're seeing a potential double bottom forming. And we will see now that price goes up and it's a clean double bottom, as you can see. There's a clean double bottom pattern. What I like to see after that is just a retrace, right, making a higher low basically, with weaker selling and aggressive buying stepping in. And this is what we saw. We saw some weaker selling right here and then aggressive buying stepping in. Okay, third bottom now. But I already entered right here at the 27.75s. As you zoom out a little bit, you can see we had this double bottom right here. And then in that moment in time, this was weaker selling for me and some buying stepped in. And even if I just see weaker selling, I decide to step in. So I decided to step in the market here at the 27.75s. Obviously in hindsight, you can see now that the buying wasn't too significant, but you have to understand that this moves really fast in real time. So you have to make decisions quickly. And I decided to step in here. I had a 4-point stop loss, so I had quite a bit of room, a little bit of drawdown, made a third bottom, swept these 2 lows as well. And then price started to move from there. This would have been another great entry right here, a bit lower than my entry, at the 26.75s or the 27s, where you can see this double bottom and you see third bottom, but it just swept these lows and immediately reclaimed with aggressive buying stepping in, because this is obviously clear aggressive buying. This could have been a great entry. And obviously the move started happening from here. I was already in profit, 4 or 5 points, and then price just rallied up a little bit more. And as soon as I saw these break of structures, I moved my stop loss to break even. And it went all the way to around the 37s, a little bit higher. And then the market decided to go further down and take me out break even basically. So here you can see how buyers are really trying to push the price higher, and it was looking really good. A lot of aggressive buying, and then all of a sudden the price just stops and there's an aggressive move to the downside with aggressive selling. I get stopped out break even at this point right here, and I was looking to re-enter. Again, I see double bottoms happening. See aggressive selling. And let's just stop this for a minute. So here you can see a double bottom right here forming again, more or less in this range where I previously entered, right? I obviously entered at the 27.75s and it came more or less back to this range. Maybe I was a little bit too early to enter this, but for me it was valid enough to risk it basically. So I entered somewhere here again on this pullback. We had this double bottom right here, not as clean as the previous one, but still a double bottom, or sort of a higher low of this one. And then we had this retrace here with lower selling and aggressive buying. This is where I stepped in, and yeah, it took me out break even basically at a loss. And then the price goes deeper and makes another double bottom right here, as you can see. And this is also where I decided to enter the market again for a third time. And you can see we have 3 bottoms being made right here. We have this double bottom right here. This is getting a little bit choppier over here, not as clean as the first setup where I entered, which was pretty clean setup, I would say. And I would take that all day long, very clean double bottom within a retrace and some aggressive buying stepping in. So this is where I entered. Obviously, I always give my stop loss a little bit of room, because these manipulations sometimes can happen, obviously not always, but I'd like to give my trade a little bit of room. And it immediately reclaimed here, which was a good sign. This is why the market pushed up quite a bit for about 10 points above my entry, which obviously resulted in a break-even trade. And then I entered again right here at this double bottom right here, and we had this little retrace here with weaker selling, aggressive buying. This is where I entered, and he entered me around the 30s, 30.25 it was. And then obviously the market takes me out very quickly. and I was looking for a re-entry, and we see again another double bottom being formed with a retrace right here with weaker selling and aggressive buying. So then I stepped in, and this move happened really quickly, so it didn't fill me exactly where I wanted. It filled me a little bit higher at the 28.25s right here instead of right here. So, you know, almost a point higher than where I originally wanted to enter. And then we made a third bottom, right? We made a third bottom, and let's click on play. Took a little bit of time, a little bit of choppiness, and eventually the market started to push aggressively in my way. I didn't really have much drawdown on this trade, to be honest, and I gave my stop loss 5 points because there was already a lot of wicks happening at this level right here and a lot of choppiness, as you can see on this chart. You can see how this level was holding multiple times, a lot of wicks and some manipulation. So I wanted to give my stop loss a little bit more room, as you can see right here. Yes, 4 points would have worked obviously as well, which was probably enough, but then I was thinking as well, since the pre-market lows were right here and we still didn't take out the pre-market lows, we could have seen a quick manipulation of the pre-market lows. This is why I decided to give my stop loss a little bit more room, just in case that it would just go to pre-market lows, manipulate that, and then fly from there. Let's go back to the Bookmap. So you can see right here, double bottom. I entered on a small retrace right here. You can see double bottom, little retrace with weaker selling, aggressive buying. It filled me at the 28.25s, which is still a very good entry. And obviously we had the high of day on the chart, which was this level right here at the 40.50s, and I exited most of my position at the 40.75s, just one tick above the market session high of day. And you will see here on the Bookmap, which was the 40s, we also had a massive offer sitting right here at the 40s, which aligned with the high of day. So this is where I decided to exit most of my position. Let's speed it up a little bit so it doesn't take too long for you guys to see. You can see how much heavy buying is stepping in right here with retraces, with weaker selling. Again, very aggressive buying. We get some aggressive selling that immediately gets absorbed, and there's a lot more aggressive buying stepping in. So again, our first take profit level is right here at the 40.75s, right between these two offers basically. Here you can see that I exit most of my position right here at the 40.75s. Then my next target was the value area high, which was this level right here at the 44.25. And this happened very quickly after obviously my first take profit level, where I took most of my positions off. And the 44.25 right here happened straight after, in a matter of just a minute or two. This pump went very quickly, and then obviously I had my last remaining contract at the 60s, where we had this big offer sitting right here, and it took a while for price to get there. But obviously, you know, I was chilling. I had literally I had 90% of my position taken out already of the market, took nice profits, and I thought the 60s was a good target, since it was also the balanced range high in this area right here. Obviously the balanced range high could be a little bit higher, but I didn't want to be greedy, and it aligned with a nice offer at the 60s. So here you can see we had some retraces to the downside. Let's speed it up a little bit more for you guys. We had some choppiness right here, and it kind of looked like price wanted to go down again and just, you know, respond from the balanced range midpoint, right? And then we had some retraces, but then again a lot of aggressive buying stepped in, and again our take profit level was at the 60s. And at this moment in time as well, I'll just stop for a second, we see these massive blocks of offers sitting right here. And what I've seen usually is when we see these massive blocks all, you know, very close to each other, it's just this massive big block of orders. I've seen many times that it just crushes through it. Price usually doesn't react very strongly when it's like a massive block right here, as in this example. But usually what I've seen is that it reacts when there's just a clean offer at a certain price level, like the 60s for example, or the 63s. This is where price usually reverses from. But when we see these massive ranges of orders, in this case offers, then I've seen many times happen that price just slices through it. So obviously I had one remaining contract, and knowing all this and knowing the market context with a balanced range, I was willing to let my remaining contract set at the 60s and just wait patiently for that level to get hit. And if it doesn't, and it takes me out break even, all good. I took 90% of my profits already. So, you know, that's all good. I was still very profitable for the day. And here we go. We're in this range now of orders, and we see a lot of heavy selling, but it's not reacting off this range. And we finally get to the 60s, and here it hits my target, and I'm all out. Okay, so this was a massive trade. I entered obviously at the 28.25s over here. This was my entry, and my exit was right here at the 60. So I caught almost 32 points on this move with 5 points of risk. So, you know, it's a 6 point, almost 40R target. Obviously with taking partials, this risk to reward becomes a lot smaller, just a little bit over 3, which, you know, technically is a shame. Obviously I could have almost doubled my profits pretty much if I wouldn't have taken partials. But for me, I'm just long-term more profitable if I do take partials at reasonable levels. Okay, so you can see how many orders there are still here, and then price eventually pushes a little bit higher above my target, and then decided to reverse from there. Okay, as you can see on this chart right here, it went to the 63, 64s, and then, you know, price decided to reverse and then make this whole move down, basically just above my entry, and then another move to the upside. So it was a very good exit, this one right here. I could have targeted obviously my level higher, which it wouldn't have been hit, and then I would have get probably out of the trade later on. Also keep in mind this was Friday, so I don't like to hold trades too long. I'm definitely not holding them, you know, overnight or whatever. So I like to get out as quickly as possible, and I think this was a reasonable target for my last remaining contract. Okay, so anyways, this was my trade from Friday. Great trading session, especially with, you know, being very stoic mentally, which was not easy because obviously I had 2 trades prior. My winning trade, I had one break-even trade, was a very good one over here, and then I had a loss over here, and then as soon as I had that loss, literally within less than a minute, I already re-entered the next position. And it's not easy to stay very calm and just follow the process even after having a loss. But obviously after a long time of trading, you become a little bit more numb to these situations, at least I do, and I accept the losses, especially if I traded according to plan. I traded my A+ setup, which is what I did in this case. All my trades in this trading session I would take over and over again, especially the first one, the second one, and also the third one. I would take them every single day. So it's really important to stay calm and stoic even after having losses. And obviously this third trade happened very quickly after my loss, literally in less than a minute. I had to re-enter. So it's really important to, you know, not pay too much emotional attention to these losses, especially if you take good setups and get frustrated, and then you would miss out on trades like this, or, you know, that would be a shame, obviously, because just the one emotion can change this whole trading session from a basically losing trading session to a winning trading session, right? So if I wouldn't have stayed calm and I would have been, you know, frustrated because of this loss, and, you know, I wouldn't have paid attention, then maybe I would have missed out on this move, and, you know, I wouldn't have had a great trading session in the end. So it's important to really control your emotions and accept losses, especially if you follow your plan. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions about anything trading related, psychology related, let me know in the comments down below and I'll get back to you. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.